Today, we've got another look at the new iPhone 18 Pro Max, along with news of a major camera upgrade. So first up, Apple has reportedly entered mass production of the iPhone 18 Pro display, which is a strong indication that everything remains on schedule for the expected September launch. The new panel is said to use Samsung's latest M16 OLED technology, bringing improvements to brightness, power efficiency, and color accuracy. Now, at the same time, reports suggest Apple is negotiating lower display prices with both Samsung and LG, with rumors claiming they could reduce panel costs by as much as 20%. But unfortunately, that's not because the iPhone is getting any cheaper. Instead, Apple is reportedly trying to offset rising manufacturing costs elsewhere. While it may be disappointing to hear, a price increase for the iPhone 18 lineup is looking almost inevitable. Now, something that won't disappoint you, however, is today's video sponsor Memocet, the AI wearable that doesn't just remember meetings, it remembers the bigger picture. Now, there are already plenty of AI meeting recorders that are going to give you a transcript and summary after each meeting, but the problem is that's not really how projects work. You might have an initial meeting on Monday, another discussion later that week, then revisit the same project again a month later. Now, normally you're trying to remember what changed between all those conversations, and that's where the Memocet feels completely different. The tiny wearable records the conversations that you choose. It automatically creates transcripts, summaries, and action items, but then it uses AI to connect everything together. So instead of searching through one recording, you can simply ask questions like what changed during the project, what still needs doing, or even summarize everything we've discussed over the past month, and it becomes much closer to how our own memory works rather than an AI summary tool. Now, it also fits into the tools that you're probably already using. It's got support for things like Google Calendar, Apple Reminders, Notion, Slack, and even Claude, so your notes and action items don't stay trapped inside another app. The product itself is tiny as well. It weighs just 11 grams and has up to 20 hours of continuous recording, so after a while, you genuinely forget you're even wearing it. So if you'd like to check out the Memocet gem for yourselves, I placed the link down in the description below so you can go ahead and check it out now. Now back to the iPhone 18 Pro, and another noticeable change this year is going to be the overall thickness. According to Fixed Focus Digital, the iPhone 18 Pro Max is going to be around 2mm thicker thanks to a slightly larger body and redesigned camera plateau. Now that might sound like a big increase on paper, but in reality I don't think you're going to notice during everyday use unless you're comparing the two models side by side. More importantly, Apple isn't making it thicker for no reason. The extra space is reportedly being used to accommodate a much larger battery along with an upgraded camera system, so personally I think it's a trade-off that most people are going to happily accept. Now, talking of the battery, we've now had further confirmation that the iPhone 18 Pro Max is getting a substantial upgrade. The eSIM-only model is expected to feature a huge 5,567 mAh battery, while countries that still receive a physical SIM tray are going to get a slightly smaller 5,391. But either way, it's a considerable increase over the iPhone 17 Pro Max, which had a 5,088 mAh battery in the eSIM model, and then a 4,823 mAh in the physical SIM. Pair that with the efficiency gains from the new A20 Pro chipset, Apple's updated hardware design, and the new LPDDR6 memory, and the iPhone 18 Pro Max is shaping up to deliver the best battery life we've ever seen on an iPhone. Now, the camera is also getting one of the biggest upgrades that we've seen in years. Following the Tata leak, we've now got confirmation that the iPhone 18 Pro Max is going to use Sony's brand new IMX905 sensor. And while the physical pixel size remains similar to the sensor found in the previous iPhone 17 Pro Max, the real headline feature is going to be variable aperture. Now, this allows the camera to physically adjust how much light enters the lens depending on what you're shooting. In darker conditions, it's going to open up and let in more light, helping improve the low light photography, while in brighter conditions, it can narrow the aperture to improve sharpness and give you much better control over depth of field. Now, it's also going to provide noticeable improvements for video recording. Bright sunlight has always been one of the more challenging situations for smartphone cameras because the shutter has to capture each frame incredibly quickly to avoid overexposure. But with the variable aperture, the iPhone 18 Pro models can simply reduce the amount of incoming light instead, resulting in smoother, more consistent looking footage. Now, with launch now only a few weeks away, we can also be fairly confident that the design we've been seeing in recent renders is exactly what Apple is going to announce. Overall, it remains very similar to its predecessor, but there are a few welcome refinements. Now, as we said, the phone is slightly thicker, the dynamic island is expected to become noticeably narrower, and the redesigned rear camera panel blends much more naturally into the back glass, giving the phone a cleaner overall appearance. Now, the only thing we still don't know for certain is the final color lineup. Current rumors continue pointing towards a dark cherry, light blue, silver, and hopefully we get the return of a proper black model as well. But overall, the iPhone 18 Pro Max is shaping up to be one of Apple's most meaningful hardware updates in recent years. Rather than completely redesigning the iPhone, Apple seems to have focused on improving the areas that people use every single day. That's a much larger battery, a new A20 Pro processor, faster LPDDR6 memory, improved thermals, a variable aperture camera system, and this new refined display. It all adds up to what looks like a very polished flagship experience. Now, we've also got iOS 27 and Apple's latest AI features to look forward to, and hopefully this year Apple starts making those features genuinely useful rather than simply adding AI for the sake of it. Now, for those using the iPhone 17, I don't think anyone's going to be rushing for the upgrade, but for anyone with an older iPhone or maybe looking to try out their first iPhone, then it's definitely going to be a great choice. Now, of course, we're not far away from launch now, and lots of leaks are going to come in as we approach it, and I'm going to be sharing them as soon as they do, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing in the future.